Welcome to A Canadian Investing in the U.S., a podcast and YouTube channel focused on Canadians buying real estate with host Glenn Sutherland.
Welcome to another episode of A Canadian Investing in the U.S. This week, my guest is Garrett Nann. Garrett, let's start by giving everyone a bit of an intro to yourself, a little bit who you are, and a little bit about your story.
Yeah, so I own a company called National Property Group with a partner of mine, and our story is pretty straightforward. We both had the real estate bug for a really long time. Never pulled the trigger on it, and about 6 years ago, we went kind of all in, packed up my stuff, moved to another state. I live in New Jersey. And everything we invest in is outside of New Jersey, 3 different markets in PA, market in Alabama, a couple markets in Alabama. And just kind of went for it just a bit over 6 years ago. And we've accumulated a nice little portfolio through the blood, sweat, and tears it takes to do that when you're not near the property too much.
Well, you said you packed up and moved, so you had to actually, you wanted to be local to your market, or you just said a bunch of markets that aren't even close to each other. Birmingham, or I assume Birmingham, but Alabama and Pennsylvania are not beside each other at all.
Yeah, they're not close to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I did was we had purchased a rental and a few flips in North Alabama, in the Huntsville area.
Speak my language.
And and I don't know. I just kind of saw it as like a crossroads moment. Like, I can really go all in on this. And the other business I own allows for full location freedom. And I just thought it would make a ton of sense to get down there, get a house, and be on property, be on site, and try to make a real go of it. That's what made sense for me at the beginning.
Okay. So you wanted to be on site, but how are you on site in both Pennsylvania and Alabama?
Right. So Alabama was, I wasn't. Alabama was our introduction to out-of-state investing. So I was on site in Alabama for a while. And after we got ran out of town by the hedge funds, it took us a little longer to find the next market. And that next market was Pennsylvania. It wasn't simultaneous. It was,
Gotcha.
It was one after the other.
Okay. So setting up a new market, you're going into a completely, well, maybe step back a bit. Why did you pick Alabama? Why did you pick Pennsylvania?
So the Alabama was picked out of a couple of conversations that we were in where people were mentioning it. And when we started looking it up, and, we both live in New Jersey. So in Alabama, we were looking at houses that were, 40,000, 50,000, fourplexes for 80,000, 70,000. And it just, it was on a tip, kind of a tip. It was just a conversation that we were in. We weren't really looking for any advice on it. And someone just started just going at it and just telling us all about the real estate. And then we just looked at each other and said, let's pull up Zillow and find out what's this guy talking about.
Yeah.
And Pennsylvania was actually inside of the BRRRR Invest Facebook group. Someone was posting a lot of information about these deals that they were doing, and the ARVs, and he was posting all his numbers, and just kind of did a little internet sleuthing, kind of found the area. He wasn't mentioning the area, but he was mentioning some people, and just found our way into that area and started making calls on agents there.
Well, that's cool. So picked a couple markets. So what's the first, how do you do this? How do you go about doing this distance investing? What kind of things do you need to get set up?
Yeah, so if we're moving into another market now, like we're actively searching for another market, and step one is finding multiple agents. The first 5 agents you talk to aren't really investor friendly agents, even if they say that they are. So you really got to drill down into finding a good source for leads, because you have to make offers. You have to get into it, in my opinion, right away, where you're not doing the searching for the houses, in my opinion, to focus on making offers, learning the neighborhoods, learning potential ARVs, because that's that's the whole formula right there.
Yeah.
Works best. So starting with calling more agents than you would want to probably, and drilling that down into one or two that actually will send properties and provide guidance on those neighborhoods.
Okay, so that's what you're looking for, is ones with they'll actually send the properties. And I think
send the properties and give some guidance.
Yeah. And I think what you're looking for is what you're not looking for is one of those drip down lists where they just, we're going to, anything between this price range and this price range, we're just going to send you everything. You're probably not looking for that.
Yeah, no, that wastes a lot of your time. It takes none of theirs and all of yours. And, everyone needs to get paid and do their part. And I want to see more specific properties of here's our business model. Here's what we do. Here's what we're looking for. Here's the ideal. So you should have your absolute ideal situation, present that to people, and let them go to try to find those houses that fit into your ideal scenario, and then adjust from there.
Gotcha. All right. So you got, you've done some work. I don't know if you're doing this at the same time or you went and found your agent first. But what are you looking for next? What's the next part of this?
The next thing is qualified contractors. The hope being that some agents or property managers have some insights. Some property managers you call and say, I got a whole book of people. Some property managers call and say, well, I'll bid out to 3 people. If they're bidding out to 3 people, they don't have any ins with those crews, and you need some ins to push some buttons and to move your projects along. So second step is, where are you going to find people to get the work done? Who's going to do the work? I got someone to send me properties. Who's going to do the work, and how are they going to check on this stuff? That's the part 2 of it. Okay.
What do you mean by check on the stuff? Like just to verify the contractor did the work?
Yeah. So you want to set up, there's an app called Company Cam. It was set up for contractors or, contractors with a lot of crews, where maybe the owner of, I learned about it from a roofing company guy.
Yeah.
He's not driving around all day, but after the day, his guys just go into this Company Cam app and just take pictures of the work in that folder, and it just uploads. It takes everyone no more than a couple of minutes. So we get that done independently, not from the contractor. We get it done independently. It works for, the guy that owns the roofing company, but for us, we're looking for a little independent, and it's real simple. You don't have to do Dropbox links and all that other stuff. Sending, more than 3 pictures in a Gmail, you can't do. So it works.
Okay. No, that's good. So you got your contractor, you got someone to verify the contractor, you got a real estate agent. What else is left?
When I started investing in the US, I did it by myself and had to go through the growing pains of doing that. GlennSutherland.com/coaching. A 12-week coaching program done 1 hour per week over Zoom from the comfort of your own home. Classes are kept to 5 people to be able to answer everyone's questions. Shortcut the process. Make fewer mistakes. Curriculum available at GlennSutherland.com/coaching.
Hopefully you want to make a connection with a title guy. What I've learned is, as our business has gotten larger, the title person becomes so crucial when you're doing multiple closings in a week or multiple closings in a month. That person really keeps it organized for you. So you want to touch base with a title person to find out, depending on how you're buying these, we're buying all cash using private lenders. We want to get our title company in contact with potential lenders so that everyone knows the process is smooth and done in a really above board manner.
Okay. Off basis question, this has popped in my head. When you're working with these private lenders, do you get them to go direct to title, or do they send the money to you and then you send it into title?
Direct to title. So other than a few, all of our private lenders I've never sat across the table from. So it's everything funnels through the title company, and then depending how we structure it, the rehab money might be coming directly into our account or being done as a draw separately from title, but everything gets closed through title 100% of the time.
No, that's nice and clean too, because then whenever you go to sell, actually, I never even asked you what your business was, but if you were doing a flip and you were going to sell it at the end, then the title could split it up and send out their money back to them, each person.
Exactly. It's just another piece of the puzzle. You want to be clean, easy, simple, and as uninvolved as possible. Let them do their work, their job, and everyone stays happy. And it's just a smooth, clean transaction when you're doing it that way.
Yeah. It's very interesting. There's so many different ways to skin that cat.
Oh my goodness.
You know, a lot of times I like to try to bring it in my own bank account and then go through. Then it shows like, you know, for coming from the right company, because otherwise the title company's like has to look for that amount and everything else too, right?
So we got some advice against that for tax reasons, whether that person was right or wrong. It made sense to us, and that's when we said, okay, well, we'll just do it this way 100% of the time. And how that money is getting accounted for back into our account. It's a loan. It's trackable. It's the whole thing. We're not paying tax. I don't have to prove out that that's not income. A year and a half after I bought the property, so you know, an accountant says, "Well, hey, what's that?" And I'm like, "Well,
yeah,
I'll get back to you."
Do you register your loans, or you just leave them as promissory notes?
They are registered loans. They're recorded mortgages and notes with a personal guarantee. So it's 3 sections of paper.
That makes sense. And that makes sense the way you're doing it too, then also, because they're going to send it straight in, like just like a lender would, right?
Yeah, just like a lender would. Yeah. And that's how we talk to everybody. You're the lender. You're the top of the food chain. You're going to deal with the title guy, and this is how it's going to go. And they get named on the additionally insured, the insurance for the property, the insurance for the title, the amount of the loan is on the title, everything. So it's no questions down the line about anything.
Yeah, no. And I guess ours is a little bit of a different business. Usually my partners are equity partners, so it's a little different.
Okay.
They're part of the company.
Yeah.
So potato,
Yeah.
different ways.
Yeah. There'd be, if we were doing equity partners, there'd probably be a totally different way to do this efficiently than how we're doing it. But everyone's a debt partner. Yeah.
No, that's good. And there's usually more money in taking debt partners than equity partners. Oh, actually, I would say there always is.
Yeah, there always is. We've looked at a lot of deals where we wanted to bring people in as an equity, larger stuff, 25 unit, 20 unit, and just never panned out.
Yeah.
Would like to do it.
Okay, so what else about this? Do you have more additional people to add to your team, or tell me more about this distance investing?
Yeah, so the property manager becomes your best friend. We're above 110 units, so we talk to our property manager almost every day. If not every day, it feels a little bit off, only because we're still buying a lot and we have a lot of projects, and they're helping to oversee a lot of it.
Okay.
So our property manager, that's a big step in the process. It's the last step. If you're lucky, we have found property managers who are the agent, the GC, and the property managers. So there is a ton of skin in the game from them. Yeah. Full well knowing I'm 800 miles away. Like, I can't just pop in. So having someone that does all of it and has all that skin in the game is a big plus if you can find someone that's like that, or a company that has that set up.
Yeah, that would definitely be a huge advantage. And
then you got one point of contact for buying, renovating, and getting it rented out. You got one person, and I'll talk to that one person all day long on the work that they're doing for us. Being out of state.
Yeah, and you just said 800 miles away, and that's talking about Alabama. Depending on where you're investing in Pennsylvania, it could be and where you live in New Jersey, it could be a pretty short drive, right? For those ones.
It could be. We have one property in Pennsylvania that we can drive to.
Yeah.
So we do. I mean, we're way more involved in this one property than probably the other 109 collectively. But yeah, all our Pennsylvania stuff is a 6-hour drive, which isn't not doable. We've done that, many times to check in, show face, meet people, take some people out to lunch, dinner, play the you're building a company and you need people on your side. So
Yeah. And do you see any like advantages or disadvantages compared to the ones that are 6 hours away compared to the ones that you can drive to?
well, the huge advantage is the contractor knows you're nearby, and the people on your team know that you're nearby, right? It's mental. No matter how invested they are into your project and how good of a relationship, human beings are human beings, and knowing that we're also can bring supplies. We ran something up a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Just went to the store, bought it. He's like, I can't get it. I can't get it.
Yeah.
I don't have it. It didn't come with the delivery. Is there anything you can do? And yeah, I went to the store and bought it and drove an hour and a half out, an hour and a half home.
Yeah.
The downside is you're going to get a call that they're going to need help with you bringing stuff out there. I can't get that call anywhere else. So it really depends on the business model you want to work and the business model that you want to have for your business. So there's no one way or better than the other. I'd like more of them to be closer. I think when I lived in Alabama, driving for dollars, on a lazy Sunday afternoon, nothing going on, go driving for dollars. That was a lot of fun. Go walking open houses. That was a lot of fun. Didn't necessarily contribute to the cause, but it gets you a little bit more involved in the business.
You'll have a much better feel of the neighborhoods too, because you've been.
It takes you 2 seconds to get an idea of a neighborhood. You go driving for dollars for a couple of days, and you know exactly what's going on. Now, getting into a neighborhood, or we're looking at some Cleveland markets, and just getting the list of the do's, the don'ts, where you don't buy, where you go. It's just a number on a piece of paper, and it takes a lot of time. For me, at least, for us, we want to be. We don't throw darts in the dark. We want to be precision and take a lot of time to vet neighborhoods and areas where if you live there or you can drive there, you just drive around, you pick up real quick.
Yeah. Yeah. No, there's a lot of good things in that, what you just said. And even still for me, whenever I used to do renovations locally, I'd be there helping and doing stuff. And
right.
By investing in the States, it's
right.
I don't have to do that. I'm like a paper pusher and a people organizer, right? And it's
you got to find your strengths. You got to find the high dollar activity, and the way that I can keep those contractors working and everyone on my team making money is following my strength. My strength is making offers and raising money, and that part of our business, I need to be doing that as much as possible, versus if I'm swinging a hammer, there's a lot of problems that have just happened.
Something's went really bad.
Something's gone really bad if I got a hammer in my hand somewhere. That's a lot of red lights going off.
Well, same with me. That means I've driven all the way down. But I haven't even been down there to visit any of my projects. And I think I've been down to the States. I was down there last month, and I'm going down again this month, but not to the same markets where my properties are. More for conferences or entertainment. Yeah. It's just a different mind shift. I get questioned a lot. Like, how do you own properties and you've never been to them? You've never seen them. And it's, I got really trusted people, and we look at a lot of photos, and it's just a mind shift. I mean, walking a property is not that exciting. It's rather anticlimactic. Yeah.
When you're walking through a house, it takes you 5-6 minutes to walk through a house that you're going to, be repairing or mid-repair. There's not a lot of excitement. Excitement is getting more offers in and buying more houses.
And an inspector or a contractor does a better job of looking at houses than I do.
100%.
And we know this better than I do.
Yeah. Everything we purchase has two contingencies: a contractor walkthrough and an inspector walkthrough. They are going to know significantly more than me ever walking through a property, seeing joists and the specialized parts of contracting. We're going to rip out all those walls. Okay, great. Well, does it need electrical? How are the mechanicals? What do you see on the roof? I don't know. I'm not trying to know. So everything we buy has those contingencies. And if there's enough red flags from those two people, we don't buy the property. We back out.
Yeah. Did we get through all the teams? I was just thinking about this in my head. Did we get through?
You got the agent,
Yeah.
property manager, you got the contractor, title, which does not get enough love in the real estate investing world.
No.
I talk to him all the time, keeping on schedule, especially when you're using private lenders.
Yeah.
You got to get your dates of your closings. You've got, there's a lot of things to track and a lot of things to stay on top of. And the title guy doesn't get enough love in the real estate investing world.
They don't. And like a good title agent, like I've had some of them where they are good at even checking previous transactions that have done by other title companies. And I've seen them sometimes come back and say like 2 transactions ago, the wife signed, but I looked up and the wife was married and the husband never signed. So, there could be a clouded title 2 transactions back.
Yeah. We've dropped some deals that have gone through the whole process, but the title guy says we can't offer title insurance on this because of A, B, and C. And the attorneys on the other side are saying, well, don't worry about that. We'll take care of that later. And someone said that to me as an investor. Okay, maybe, but I'm going with this guy.
Yeah. And later, they don't have, once they're paid, people, contractors, everybody works, their motivation is the money. Once they're paid, they're not motivated to finish these things.
Yeah.
You're probably better to extend.
Yeah. And on that note, it's anyone listening to this that might be new into business, the big note of everyone's in it for the money. Don't let anyone convince you otherwise. This is a money game for everybody involved. So
yeah, you're not running a charity.
yeah, you're not running a charity. And the challenge is everyone's kind of got their hand out to the guy buying the house, right? And sometimes you just can't work with people, or you got to question things. Or we were scrolling through finished photos the other day of a project that's been complete, has a renter, but found a bunch of stuff on that item, on that checklist, that did not get done by the contractor. Nothing major, small things. Didn't change the outlets, didn't change the outlet covers. Just things that
they do help make it pop a little nicer, though. Yeah.
Well, we paid for it, right? We paid for it, and the inspector walks in, and we don't want him to say, well, this is a lipstick, not the inspector, the appraiser.
Yeah.
We don't want it to seem like a lipstick rehab. We want it to have those extra detailed items.
Yeah. Do you have someone else then? I guess you have that app to have someone check their stuff over.
Yeah. So that app is good for as it's going.
Yeah.
We have a lot of projects going. So things like outlet covers, we will miss like in real time sometimes, and then catch up with it a little bit later on. And yeah, we have our agent and they're doing walkthroughs and updating into our Dropbox regularly. Cool.
And what does your typical project look at like? I know you just mentioned renters, so sounds like you're keeping these.
Yeah, we keep everything.
Okay.
Very, very rare will we flip a house and just not own it, because if we can flip it, we can refi and keep the tax-free money anyway.
Right.
Typical deals is 15 to 20 in rehab, 100,000 ARVs. Refinancing it out and try to get every single dollar back as possible.
Yep.
And just keep it going. Sometimes you get the whole thing, sometimes you get most of it, and sometimes you get a little of it. But either way, you got a house. Someone's paying the rent.
Yeah, I love that strategy too. I do a lot of that too. I started mixing in some flips, but I've done a lot of that exact strategy, trying to get make sure you buy it with the ARV over 100.
Would love to flip more properties. It's just in the markets we're in, they're not there. It's just not there. So that's one in some of the new markets we're looking at. We're hoping to see if there's a little bit more inventory for some flips.
Okay. Well, I still have some stuff down in Huntsville myself, and
okay, nice.
The property values are doubled or tripled from
That's unbelievable.
4 years ago, and yeah, that's where I'm now thinking of even selling some. That's when you say you keep everything, I'm like, I guess you just do a second refinance on them, or do you just let it sit there, all the equity that's in those properties?
I mean, right now we've just been letting it sit there. We don't have a big need for that equity. You know, we're buying everything with private lenders. We've got a really solid group of them. They haven't had that need to tap into that equity yet, but you know, one day in my life I will own a mobile home park, and I don't know when that day will come, but I want one. I've been trying to buy one. Maybe the equity use will be towards that one day.
All right. What else do I need to know about remote investing?
Remote investing is just a mind shift that you don't need to be there. You don't add as much value as you might think that you do. Your value needs to be, if you're building a real estate portfolio and a business, into finding people who can make you a lot of offers and managing a team, and not the work, and not being, you got to let go. You know, that's the big part. There's got to be a let go of some control. Yeah. And that's the hardest part in the out-of-state real estate investing. You got a lot on the line. You got a lot of money on the line. There's a lot of people got their hopes and dreams wrapped up into your hopes and dreams. And, you know, you got to learn to just manage your business, let go, and make a ton of offers, and just be active, be aggressive with your offers, and don't feel bad. I used to feel so bad making these ridiculous offers until people started taking them. I'm like, all right, well, then it's not a ridiculous offer. They said, okay, it's just the asking price was ridiculous. My offer wasn't ridiculous. And get it to where you're making a lot of offers and financing deals.
I love it, Garrett. People wanted to track you down, know anything about your company, or anything about you, or how to find you, how would they do so?
Yeah, so we have a really, we think it's a cool newsletter. We put it out once a month. You can sign up for it at National Property Group. What we're putting in that is all stages of our business. So we'll post houses that we just bought, houses that we refied, houses in mid rehab, and we briefly talk about it. So it's just, if you're in the real estate game and you want to follow along what an active real estate company kind of looks like and what we're doing, nationalpropertygroup.com, and then there's just a simple newsletter sign up, and we send one a month from the previous month and what's going on. So I would say that's the best way to kind of follow along, National Property Group, and then all our contact information is in there and on the website.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for coming on the show, Garrett.
Thank you.
Lots of value. There was lots of takeaways, especially for my audience, who are they're planning to all be, they either are or planning to be remote investors. So a lot of stuff there.
Yeah, appreciate you having me.